Good afternoon. Final score will chart the progress of all today's football matches that are in progress. Gavin Peacock, Les Ferdinand and Garth Crooks are paying close attention to the Barclays Premier League games. And alongside those matches, 16 second-round FA Cup ties are underway. They feature 10 clubs from outside the English Football League, all hoping they'll be in tomorrow's draw for the third round. News from the Cup is on the way. The first result of the day, Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. More details coming up after the latest on the game still being played. Wigan kicked off second bottom at home to Manchester City. Ivan Gaskell reporting.
Yes, they've won all of their games against Manchester City in the Premier League, have Wigan, and they're pressing to win this one. And that after they went behind so early as well. They've only got 1 point from the last 30, and they went behind inside, well, 35 seconds here. They're playing better than that since then, though. It all started badly with Titus Bramble's terrible mistake, playing and missing in the heart of the defence. Giovanni cashed in, but they did deserve their equaliser, Paul Scharner's header. It's been tight, about as tight as Steve Bruce's perm in a 1980s picture in the team programme today. It's 1-1 here with around about a quarter of an hour left.
Potential shock in the FA Cup. Forest Green holding Swindon 2-2 so far. 3 defeats in 4 make Newcastle's result at Blackburn this afternoon highly significant. Blackburn hammered 4-0 at home in midweek, desperate to bounce back from that heavy defeat. Dan Walker.
Well, let's forget about the first half, Ray. That was miserable. The second, though, was kicked into life when Obafemi Martin's clever header directed a free kick past Brad Friedel just 2 minutes in. Newcastle fans who booed their team off last week were delirious. But cue 2 moments of quality from David Bentley, a curled free kick and a driven finish, both from 20 yards and both past Shay Given. Sam Allardyce, the under-fire manager, is in his technical area for the first time this afternoon. He needs to do something to change it.
3 straight defeats for Reading. They stood 3 points above the relegation places ahead of a home game with Middlesbrough. Only goal difference was keeping Borough out of the bottom 3. Latest news from Andrew James.
It's Reading 1, Middlesbrough 0. Ray, the goal from Dave Kitson, his 5th of the season. Route 1 stuff. Hanneman's long ball downfield, flicked on by Doyle, and then looped over the goalkeeper by Kitson. Borough hit the post in the first half, but both sides have been disappointing in torrential rain. It's Reading 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Third place Charlton in the Championship. 3-1 down at home to Burnley. Burnley finding form of late under new boss Owen Coyle. Portsmouth versus Everton in the Barclays Premier League. 7th against 8th the kick-off. Both clubs in great form. Roger Johnston's at Fratton Park.
Cancelling each other out. Portsmouth 0, Everton 0. The home side have shaded the chances, but Everton have held firm, and Tim Howard hasn't been really extended after a testing week off the pitch. Portsmouth manager Harry Redknapp will be pleased to be focusing on the football again, and he's seen Benjani, Mendes and Cranshaw go close in recent minutes. Diop wasted a great chance for his side in the first half. At the other end, David James has just saved an Arteta free kick for Everton. Before that, his only stop of note was from Philip Neville's deflected free kick. But Everton will fancy stealing a winner here, 0-0.
Sunderland versus Derby, third bottom versus bottom of the table at 3 o'clock. New boss Paul Jewell in charge of Derby for the first time. Steve Sutton's on Wearside.
Yes, Ray, and as it stands, he's going to grab his first point as well. It's 0-0, but this game flowing backwards and forwards like the tide off the Roker seafront, not very far from this ground. Both sides have hit a post in the first round. It's do-or-die stuff now, but it's still 0-0.
And more details now on the Chelsea-West Ham game that finished 2 hours ago. Jonathan Pearce was at Stamford Bridge.
Chelsea 1, West Ham United 0. Joe Cole beating his old side with a controversial goal for lacklustre Chelsea 15 minutes from time. West Ham fiercely competitive throughout, thought Cole was offside. TV replay showed he was level with the last defender. West Ham had snarled around Chelsea throughout. The home side could find no rhythm. Didier Drogba complained of a laser shot in his eyes by West Ham fans in the first half. It was the only bright light in a gloomy 45 minutes. The second half started brighter. Sidwell for Chelsea and Boa Morte for West Ham testing the keepers. But it was only with the injection of sub-Wright Phillips that the pattern of the game changed with a little bit of pace. And with 15 minutes to go, the deadlock was finally broken. Cole racing on to a Kalou header to round green and tuck home. Chelsea unbeaten at home in the league in 70 games now. West Ham's first defeat in 7 in all competitions. West Ham will think it was hard on them. But it finished Chelsea 1, West Ham 0.
Chelsea second in the table as things stand. Les, this could be a very important 15 minutes for Newcastle United and their manager Sam Allardyce. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would. You know, they started the game well, were playing really well, went a goal up, and all of a sudden started to panic. They was in real control of the game, started panicking, and Blackburn got themselves back in. A great free kick from Bentley got themselves back into the game, and then they've just stormed Newcastle, got a second goal, and now Sam Allardyce has gone for broke. He's taken off Stephen Carr, who he put on in place of Fly, subbed the sub, and he's gone with Viduka, and he's gone with 3 up front, and really having a go to try and get a goal back.
It's not been good for the North Eastern Football Club so far this season. No. How do you view Middlesbrough's situation? If they lose at Reading this afternoon, looks like they'll be in the bottom 3, and that'll be no win in 10.
And it will test the patience, and he is a very patient chairman as well, is Steve Gibson, with Gareth Southgate. Now, I think the fans are probably more disgruntled possibly than the chairman at the moment, but there comes a stage where a chairman has to make a call and judge whether it's a situation he thinks this present manager can get them out of, or whether he thinks he needs to make a change. I would like to think he would stick with Gareth and believe in him enough to get them out of trouble. And
Bournemouth are giving themselves a lifeline in the FA Cup. Millwall 2, Bournemouth 1. Still time for an equaliser. Garth, how do you read the situation in the Wigan-Manchester City match? Because Manchester City's away form, they don't seem to be able to put it together like they do at home.
Haven't won away from home, I think, since the start of the season, Ray. And the way they started the game, you thought that they might, because Titus Bramble gave Manchester City an absolute gift. It was like a golfer actually swinging for the ball and missing completely. And Giovanni took complete advantage of it. At the moment, Wigan have come back into it, they've played well, and they look like they just might nick it.
Still to play in the Barclays Premier League today, by the way. Arsenal, the league leaders, have got an away game at Aston Villa at 5:15 kick-off. Manchester United play Fulham on Monday. Liverpool, Birmingham, Tottenham, Bolton tomorrow. In the second round of the FA Cup, sponsored by Aon, 16 ties are underway. Let's pick out a few later scores. Forest Green 2, Swindon 2. That could be a shock result. Notts County 0, Haverton Waterlooville 0. Could be a great result for Haverton and Waterlooville. Dagenham Redbridge 1, Kidderminster Harriers 1. So a couple of shock results on the cards in the FA Cup ties being played so far this afternoon. Plymouth are going to get 3 points in the Championship at the expense of Scunthorpe. Plymouth 3, Scunthorpe 0, later score in the Championship. To Scotland, league leader Celtic played away at Hearts in a lunchtime kick-off in the SPL. Juliet Farrington watched the game.
Celtic's never-say-die attitude seems to have rubbed off on Hearts. A stoppage-time penalty at the end of 90 minutes, earning them a point after Scott McDonald put the leaders ahead 14 minutes earlier. A physical battle with very few clear-cut chances as Celtic cruised the second half, dominating possession. But Hearts dug deep and were gifted a chance to equalise when Gary Caldwell pushed Goncalves. Referee Kenny Clark pointed straight to the spot, substitute Velichka neatly converting. AC Milan then up next for Celtic, their Champions League showdown on Tuesday night. This will set them up nicely. Expect today's team to line up at the San Siro.
But points dropped as far as the SPL campaign is concerned. To Ibrox, Ian Turner's watching Rangers response at home to Kilmarnock.
And it's a good response. Goals from Jean-Claude Darcheville and an absolute cracker from Stephen Whittaker have Rangers cruising to victory here. A win that will take Walter Smith's side to within one of Celtic at the top of the SPL. Kilmarnock have created quite a few chances of their own, but there's absolutely no doubt the Ibrox men are good value for their lead. 7 minutes left. Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 0.
Also on today's SPL fixture list, 4th place Dundee United versus 3rd bottom Inverness, and it's going Inverness's way. Brian McLaughlin.
It certainly is. It's Dundee United 0, Cali Thistle 1, but that Cali defence riding their luck somehow in the second half. Gary Kenneth headed wide when it looked easier to score, whilst makeshift striker Lee Wilkes had 3 excellent opportunities when each occasion has been surrounded by Cali Thistle defenders. Ian Black scoring the only goal of the game so far, that after just 20 minutes, Lee. We've now 9 minutes left for play, and it's Dundee United 0, Cali Thistle 1.
Bury thrown out of the FA Cup last season for playing an eligible player. Looked like they're going through to the 3rd round. Still time for Exeter to pull it back there. Remember, they held Manchester United a few years ago. But Nicky Adams, with 11 minutes to go, has given Bury the lead. Bury 1, Exeter 0. Falkirk 4-1 up away at St Mirren. 2nd bottom in the SPL. Points for Falkirk this afternoon. Let's move to the Coca-Cola Championship. League leaders Watford kick off at 5:20. They have a home game with 6th place Bristol City. 2nd place West Bromwich Albion are 7 unbeaten. Away at Crystal Palace this afternoon, 5 unbeaten, finding their feet under Neil Warnock. Dominic Cotton reporting.
It's Palace 1, West Brom 1 here, Ray. And Palace are certainly reborn under Neil Warnock. They're staying very much with one of the Championship pace setters. West Brom forced an early own goal to which Clinton Morrison replied. 1-1 the half-time score. Ben Watson and Tom Sawes have since forced good saves from Dean Kiley. Julian Speroni has just spilled the ball and almost gifted West Brom a winner. The search for that vital goal goes on. We've got about 10 minutes left to play here.
Staying with the Championship, let's hear about third place Charlton at home to 11th place Burnley. Mark Bishop.
It's Charlton 1, Burnley 3. Burnley haven't won at the Valley for 13 years, but they're edging ever closer to 3 points against promotion hopefuls Charlton, who've gone to pieces here. Danny Mills handled to give Burnley a penalty. Andy Gray obliged from the spot kick to make it 3-1. His second goal after a free header in the first half, put the visitors ahead. Chris McCann doubled Burnley's lead, identical header, identical free kick. Nicky Weaver, the Charlton keeper, has had a match to forget. Andy Reid has pulled a goal back, terrific volley, but it's Burnley who are in the box seat. Charlton 1, Burnley 3.
So Charlton going to slip up, it appears. Wolves are up to 4th on the back of a 5-game unbeaten run ahead of their game with Preston, who hadn't won in their last 5. Steve Lees at Molineux.
Yes, Wolves 1, Preston 0, and Mick McCarthy's been saying lately that Wolves have been winning ugly. Well, this certainly falls into that category. They squandered chance after chance before Carl Henry, their captain, absolutely fired in a beauty from 25 yards, a real rocket shot that beat Andy Lonergan. But Preston in this second half have come on strong, missed a few chances themselves, and Callum Davison in the first half missed an absolute sitter. They can't win, they can't get a point for their new manager. It's Wolves 1, Preston 0.
As things stand, Wolves are 3 points off the top of the table. Paul Sturrock's back at Plymouth after the departure of Ian Holloway. Plymouth kicked off 7th against 17th place Scunthorpe, but they're going to climb. Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, they're winning by 3-0, and we're on course for a first win of Paul Sturrock's Plymouth career Part 2. And once they got in front here, there really was only going to be one victor. Peter Halmosi has set up all 3 goals. He crossed for Sylvan Ebanks-Blake's 8th goal of the season, and his Hungarian colleague Christian Timar volleyed in his free kick for his first of the season. Substitute Najim Abdu got on the end of a cross from Halmosi from the left. Scunthorpe's troubles are really deepening. They've won just once since September.
It's Barnsley's turn to try and dent Ipswich's 100% home record, and they're having a good crack at it. David Garrido.
They certainly are, Ray. Ipswich 0, Barnsley 0. 2 reasons why the home fans won't be in a great mood. 1, it's absolutely tipping it down, and 2, their winning run here, as you say, could come to an end in a game they've totally dominated. Gavin Williams with a free kick tipped over in the second half. Sam Togwell with Barnsley's best chance, and Dominic Verling has just had an ambitious effort from all of 40 yards, turned around the post, no goals, and I'm not convinced it will get one either.
Bottom of the table, Norwich travelled to Stoke, hoping to build on 2 straight wins. Natalie Jackson can tell us how they're faring.
It's 1-1 here, Ray, but it's been a feisty second half. Stoke have had 3 penalty appeals turned down by referee Lee Probert, and I have to say one looked like a clear penalty when a cross hit the hands of Norwich defender Jason Shackle. After that, Tony Pulis, who's celebrating his 200th game in charge here today, was sent to the stands by the officials. Fuller, Creswell and Leon Court have missed easy chances for the Potters, and after a great start to the game by bottom team Norwich, opportunity this half, can they hang on for a point? With 4 minutes to go, it's Stoke 1, Norwich 1.
Closing stages of today's games. Goal in the Reading-Middlesbrough match. Andrew James.
It's gone to Middlesbrough away. Reading 1, Middlesbrough 0, and it's Tunjai's first goal for Middlesbrough, and what a great goal it was. The substitute getting on the end of Luke Young's cross, getting in before Hanneman, and just nodding the ball over almost on the goal line. It's no more than Middlesbrough deserved. They haven't been the worst of 2 poor sides today, but Reading's goal from Dave Kitson now cancelled out by Tunjai. It's Reading 1, Middlesbrough 1.
Oh, that could be an important goal for Middlesbrough, couldn't it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it was a wonderful goal as well. Tunjai coming off the bench, as was mentioned. Great first-time cross from Luke Young. And as you say, could be so vital to them. Confidence and a vital point if they get it.
It's all getting very excitable at Fratton Park. Roger Johnson.
Yeah, not for the right reasons, though. It's still Portsmouth 0, Everton 0. A bit of afters between Victor Anichebe, one of the Everton substitutes, and David James after James had claimed the ball. A few players squared up in the penalty area. Distan and Johnson were having a bit of handbags, but the referee didn't book anyone. Wave play on. In the last few minutes, Carnew's had a shot blocked for Portsmouth. Mendes has fizzed one wide. Everton pressing at the moment. Either side could nick a goal here. It remains 0-0.
Scottish Division 3. Bottom of the table, Forfar are leading. Arbroath 3, Forfar so far 4. Stephen Tulloch with the goal, 4 minutes to go. Hull City have been in form of late in the Championship, taking 10 points from the last 12. 1 win in 7 has seen Cardiff slip to 3 points above the relegation places. Harry Grayson.
And I wonder if that means more pressure on Cardiff manager Dave Jones, Ray, but they've missed some sitters to equalise. Steve Thompson, 3 times the culprit in this second half. The goals, of course, came in the first half very early on. Steve McPhee on 2, Thompson equalising for Cardiff after 6 minutes. Schmeichel then saved Windus's penalty, but Garcia managed to recapture the lead for Hull on 42. Cardiff still trying, but they're trailing 2-1.
Vidi Pinter confirming there could be a big shock in the FA Cup. There are 40 league places just on 2 divisions between Notts County and Havant and Waterlooville. Peter Slater.
Yes, I bring you news of what could be the upset of the afternoon, Ray. 4 minutes from time, Havant and Waterlooville have taken the lead against Notts County. Their substitute, Tony Taggart, the scorer. They broke clear. Taggart went into the penalty area. Kevin Pilkington, the Notts keeper, came out. There was a clash. We looked to the referee. Was he going to give a penalty? We then looked at the ball, which was rolling just inside the far post. So Havant have the lead. We have 2 minutes left for play. It's Notts County 0, Havant and Waterlooville 1.
Still time for scorelines to change up and down the country. To Ivan Gaskell watching the Wigan-Manchester City match in the Barclays Premier League.
The scoreline hasn't changed, but the number of people on the pitch has. Mario Melchiot, the Wigan captain, has just been sent off for a foul right beneath us here in front of the dugouts on Stephen Ireland. Ireland actually is okay. He just walked off and got a bit of treatment and is back on the pitch, but the referee had absolutely no doubt at all, Mike Riley, and Melchiot was dismissed. It's still 1-1.
Vidi Pinter confirming another goal at the Britannia Stadium. Natalie Jackson.
Stoke City 2, Norwich City 1 here, Ray. Richard Creswell, the goal scorer. There was a corner and he pounced in the box to score his 5th of the Stoke have had a string of chances. They've had a penalty appeal turned down and they really deserve this win at the moment. It's Norwich City 2, Stoke City 2, Norwich City 1.
Sheffield Wednesday fighting to keep their unbeaten record intact. Alan Biggs at Hillsborough.
They just had a goal disallowed. Ray Wade Small netted. It's Wednesday 1, Colchester 2. A score that turns the form book upside down, aided and abetted by the Curse of the Manager of the Month award. Brian Law's the latest to suffer. His Wednesday side slipshod and casual today. Colchester crisp and purposeful. Teddy Sheringham and Kevin Lisby punishing first half mistakes. Akpo Soji pulled one back before the break, but Colchester could have had more, and they'll deserve it if they win for the first time in 8 games.
A late winner for Dagenham and Redbridge in the FA Cup, it appears. Ben Strevens on 85 minutes. Dagenham and Redbridge 2, Kidderminster 1. Having held Manchester United a few years ago, Burton Albion won't take anything for granted. Well, they fancied their chances against League 2 Barnet. Mark Clement reporting.
And they're back into this. It is Burton 1, Barnet 1. And what a story has emerged here, Ray, because Darren Stride is like Mr. Burton here. He's been out injured for most of the season. He has come on as substitute and he has equalised for Burton with his first touch of the ball within 30 seconds of coming on the pitch. It is Burton 1, Barnet 1.
Convincing victory for Falkirk, second bottom in the SPL. 5-1 winners away at St Mirren. Cowdenbeath, 4-1 winners away at Ayr this afternoon, also in Scotland. Financial worries, major concern for Championship side Coventry. They're playing Sheffield United. Sheffield United side that arrived with 3 wins in 4, targeting a playoff place. Mark Webber with the details.
Coventry City 1-0 down, millions of pounds in debt, and the Grim Reaper of administration walking with pace towards the Ricoh Arena have battled their financial future on this game, and they've worked hard. But Sheffield United never read the script of this tale of adversity, with Craig Armstrong's header from a Beattie cross ending the stalemate about 60 minutes in. Coventry's near misses and power would normally be money in the bank, but the question now is if it's enough for Ray Ransom, the potential buyer, to buy this club. 1-0 Sheffield United.
Bristol Rovers through to the 3rd round of the Cup. Let's hear about Blue Square Premier League club Forest Green Rovers away at League 1 Swindon. Robin Bailey.
Heartbreaking for those 2,000 Forest Green fans. Swindon have gone ahead with only about 1 minute on the clock now. Blair Sturrock has got the goal, a famous name here, of course, because the manager left in the past week, but he's left his son to take Swindon surely through to round 3. It's 3-2, but Forest Green have been gallant today, and they did lead at 2-1. They've performed brilliantly. Another chance for Swindon here. 3-2.
An all League 1 tie has come to a conclusion at Boundary Park. Lee Hughes, the goal scorer, Oldham 1, Crewe 0. Back to the Championship. Ian Holloway's Leicester's 4th manager of the season. Steve Mayer's watching the Foxes' home game with Southampton.
Into injury time, Leicester 1, Southampton 2. The Leicester chairman, Milan Mandaric, looking a touch perplexed, not for the first time this week. Southampton twice ahead through Stern John, then a penalty from Andrew Sermon, given by referee Beebe for an incident that very few of us saw. Andy King's 30-yard drive was Leicester's equaliser, but Southampton right now looking the more likely to score. Leicester 1, Southampton 2.
Celtic dropped points at lunchtime. Rangers have responded. Ian Turner.
It's been a good afternoon for Rangers, with Celtic dropping those 2 points. Walter Smith's side taking all 3 thanks to goals from Jean-Claude Darcheville before Kilmarnock had really got started, and a beauty from Stephen Naismith and Chris Boyce both squandered several very good chances to score against their old club, while at the other end Danny Invincible had Kilmarnock's best chance, but it took far too long to get his shot away. At a wet Ibrox it finished Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 0.
51 places between Oxford United and Southend in the FA Cup. Closing stages at the Kassam Stadium. Andy Barwell.
0-0 at the moment. League One side came here playing with a lone striker, really packing midfield. They know it would be a very tricky game. And Oxford, the non-league side, have caused them a problem or two. It's made Southend up their game late on here. Adam Barrett's headed over the bar. Substitute Charlie McDonald's shot was well saved. But it looked like we're heading for a replay. Oxford 0, Southend 0.
A final whistle has gone in the Wigan-Manchester City game. Ivan Gaskell.
Wigan 1, Manchester City 1, all square and about right. The pantomime season started really early in Wigan, just 35 seconds gone when Titus Bramble played ugly sister and made a real mess of clearing it. He swung at the ball, thinking he cleared it, but oh no, he didn't. Giovanni, Cinderella-like, went to the ball and danced it around Chris Kirkland. 1-0, Steve Bruce barely in the dugout. But Wigan dug in and deserved the equaliser carved out by Kumas and headed firmly home by Sharna. It developed into a dogged tussle, little to separate the sides. Wigan skipper Mario Melchett was dismissed for a late foul on Stephen Ireland with just minutes left. It didn't change the course of the game. City still can't win away. Wigan can't win at all. 1-1 here.
Huddersfield through to the 3rd round of the FA Cup. 3-0 winners at home to Grimsby. Blackburn against Newcastle. Closing stages. Dan Walker.
Yes, Ray, we're halfway through 4 minutes of added time here, and Blackburn really should have wrapped this one up by now. Emerton's hit the post in the last 15 minutes. We've seen an almighty scramble. We saw Roque Santa Cruz have a shot blocked as well. Jason Roberts has forced 2 good saves. Here's come Roberts, maybe to seal it. Roberts inside the box, goes inside the defender. It comes to Pedersen, and it's a goal in the end from Tugai. Curled around Shay Given with the outside of his right boot, and Blackburn, Ray, have wrapped this one up. 3-1, surely going to be the final score. And just spare a thought for the Newcastle fans. Delirious when Obafemi Martins gave them the lead at the start of the first half. But Blackburn have come back with 2 goals from David Bentley and now a 3rd from Tugai. And surely it's 5 games without a win for Newcastle now.
Yeah, Newcastle have lost 4 of 5. Goal at Sunderland. Steve Sutton.
Oh yes, Ray, and in the second minute of 3 minutes of added on time, it's gone to Sunderland. They're renowned for their last gasp efforts this season, and they've got one. Anthony Stokes, a second half substitute. Kenwyn Jones had a header forced off the line by Derby. Stokes had his back to the ball, and it was an overhead kick into the back of the net, which has given Sunderland an oh so precious 1-0 lead. Seconds to go.
That's the bottom of the Premier League. Bottom of the Championship. Blackpool against Queen's Park Rangers. Late goal in that game. James Mason.
Yes, Ray, we've had the opening goal of the game, and would you believe it, in the last minute to Blackpool. Ben Burgess scoring a looping header at the far post to snatch the points. Blackpool 1, QPR 0.
Right, let's hear from Harry Grayson watching the whole Cardiff City match for us.
Roger Johnson equalised for Cardiff 3 minutes into added time. Great goal, 2-2. They deserve it, to be honest.
Let's go to the Madejski Stadium. Final whistle's gone. Andrew James, Reading against Middlesbrough.
Reading 1, Middlesbrough 1. Ray, some Turkish delight for Middlesbrough boss Gareth Southgate, whose decision to send on Tuncay late on was rewarded with a super equalising goal from the Turk, who headed in Luke Young's pinpoint cross. It cancelled out a more simple goal from Reading that put them ahead as Kitson lobbed in Doyle's flick on from Hanneman's kick-out. Neither side did enough to merit all 3 points in driving rain, but Borough will be by far the happier with the outcome. Reading 1, Middlesbrough 1.
No win in 10, but it's a priceless point for Middlesbrough. To Fratton Park, Portsmouth against Everton. Roger Johnson.
We're still playing. It's Portsmouth 0, Everton 0, and we're moving into 2 minutes of added time with the home side asking all the questions. Everton, though, holding firm here. Portsmouth have gone closest on the most number of occasions, but Everton look like they're going to take a point. It remains 0-0.
First win in 9 for Sunderland at home to bottom of the table Derby County. All over, Steve Sutton.
Yes, Ray, the fans had to wait until the 92nd minute for Sunderland to grab that late winner. Anthony Stokes, a second-half substitute, back to the goal, overhead kick into the back of the net. What will Paul Jewell make of it? His side showed a lot of fight and a lot of spirit, but they shipped to goal in those final seconds. 3 valuable points for Sunderland. They win by 1-0.
Only their first clean sheet since the opening Saturday of the season. Blackburn first win in 5. Newcastle have lost 4 of 5. Dan Walker.
Yes, Ray, with Sam Allardyce feeling the wrath of the Newcastle fans and Blackburn nursing wounds from a 4-0 midweek defeat to Aston Villa, this was always going to be tentative. And Obafemi Martins was the man who livened it up with a clever header at the start of the second half that set the Newcastle fans into raptures, but the game was then turned on its head by 2 goals from David Bentley, a free kick and a sweetly struck dive within 15 minutes of each other, and then Tugay wrapped things up in added time to make it 3-1. Newcastle fans are still applauding their team. They've not left the stadium, but it's yet another headache for their manager, Sam Allardyce.
Sheffield Wednesday's 6-game unbeaten run has come to an end, beaten at home by Colchester by 2-1. Inverness Caledonian Thistle, great result away at Dundee United. They'd only dropped 2 points at home before today's game. Cali 1-0 winners. Kings Lynn beating Merthyr by 5-1. Vinnie Printer confirming the 3rd goal in the Blackburn-Newcastle game. Let's go to Selhurst Park. This is a championship match between Crystal Palace and second place West Bromwich Albion.
It finished Palace 1, West Brom 1 here, Ray. Neil Warnock certainly got Palace playing his team well worth a point against the free-scoring promotion chasers. A Mark Hudson own goal and a Clinton Morrison strike meant an even first half ended all square. An unhappy Morrison was replaced early in the second half by Paul Dickoff as Palace stayed with the visitors. Ben Watson and Tom Sawes forced decent saves from Dean Kiley before Julian Speroni spilled, almost gifting West Brom a winner. The decisive goal didn't come, though, and both teams have extended already decent unbeaten runs.
So second place West Bromwich Albion dropped points. Championship leaders Watford kick off at 5:20. Charlton kicked off third at 3 o'clock, have dropped points. Mark Bishop.
Charlton 1, Burnley 3. Burnley's first win at the Valley for 13 years and then their second victory in just 3 matches under their new manager Owen Coyle. Charlton today was simply awful. 2 goals. Andy Gray helped himself to a free header. The third goal coming from the penalty spot after Mills had handled. Chris McCann with another header. Weaver nowhere. Andy Reid, Charlton's best player on the pitch, scored a sumptuous volley just before the break. But what a win for Burnley. Charlton 1, Burnley 3.
Millwall through to the 3rd round of the FA Cup. Final whistle has gone at Fratton Park. Roger Johnson.
Portsmouth 0, Everton 0. Stalemate between 2 sides who started adjacent in the table. Everton set out their stall not to be broken down. They soaked up all the pressure, rode their luck at times and held firm. Portsmouth had a sack full of chances. Almost every forward player had a crack. Tim Howard stopped those he needed to, whilst at the other end David James dealt with the limited shots he had to save. Good point for Everton. Portsmouth couldn't prize all 3. Portsmouth 0, Everton 0.
Oxford United have drawn with Southend in the FA Cup. Replay to come at Roots Hall. To Dan Ice, Brian McLaughlin watched Dundee United, who kicked off 4th against Inverness Caledonian Thistle.
It finished Dundee United 0, Cali Thistle 1. Ian Black strike after 20 minutes, just a second goal conceded by United on their home patch this season. United would have gone 3rd this afternoon with a win, but rarely threatened a goal of Michael Fraser. It finished at Tannadice, Dundee United 0, Cali Thistle 1.
Shock of the round so far in the FA Cup, and Notts County of League 2 playing Havant and Waterlooville. Peter Slater.
I should say so. Havant and Waterlooville have beaten Notts County by 1-0. Second half substitute Tony Taggart scoring the winner 4 minutes from time. The non-league side breaking clear. Kevin Pilkington, the goalkeeper, came out to challenge. I looked to referee Jamal Singh to see if he was going to give a penalty, but the ball broke clear and rolled over the line. Havant certainly didn't deserve to lose this, although they did have to clear one off the line towards the end. Their travelling supporters, all 261 of them, delirious at the end. Notts County 0, Havant and Waterlooville 1.
Congratulations to Havant and Waterlooville. 40 places between those clubs in football's pecking order. Havant and Waterlooville through to the third round of the FA Cup. The draw tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. All the results are just about in from today. Time for Tim Gudgin to confirm today's final scores.
In Barclays Premier League, Aston Villa and Arsenal have a kick-off this evening. Blackburn Rovers 3, Newcastle United 1. Chelsea 1, West Ham United 0. Portsmouth 0, Everton 0. Reading 1, Middlesbrough 1. Sunderland 1, Derby County 0. Wigan Athletic 1, Manchester City 1. In the Coca-Cola Championship, Blackpool 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Charlton Athletic 1, Burnley 3. Coventry City 0, Sheffield United 1. Crystal Palace 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. Hull City 2, Cardiff City 2. Ipswich Town 0, Barnsley 0. Leicester City 1, Southampton 2. Plymouth Argyle 3, Scunthorpe United 0. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Colchester United 2. Stoke City 2, Norwich City 1. Watford and Bristol City kick off this evening. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Preston North End 0. Coca-Cola League 2, Rochdale 0, Wrexham 0. Shrewsbury Town 2, Macclesfield Town 0. Now the FA Cup sponsored by Eon, second round. Bradford City 0, Tranmere Rovers 3. Bristol Rovers 5, Rushden and Diamonds 1. Burton Albion 1, Barnet 1 is the latest score. Bury 1, Exeter City 0. Cambridge United 1, Weymouth 0, that's the latest. Dagenham and Redbridge 3, Kidderminster Harriers 1. Hereford United 2, Hartlepool United 0. Huddersfield Town 3, Grimsby Town 0. Millwall 2, Bournemouth 1. Northampton Town 1, Walsall 1. Notts County 0, Havant and Waterlooville 1. Oldham Athletic 1, Crewe Alexandra 0. And continuing the FA Cup results, Oxford United 0, Southend United 0. Staines Town 0, Peterborough United 5. Swindon Town 3, Forest Green Rovers 2. Torquay United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. In the Blue Square Premier, Altrincham 1, Histon 2. Stafford Rangers 0, Northwich Victoria 0. York City 1, Crawley Town 1. The Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Dundee United 0, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. Hearts 1, Celtic 1. Motherwell 3, Gretna 0. Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 0. St Mirren 1, Falkirk 5. The Ernbrew Scottish Division 1, Clyde 0, Queen of the South 0. Dunfermline Athletic 0, Dundee 1. Morton 2, Livingston 2. Partick Thistle 2, St Johnstone 2. Stirling Albion 2, Hamilton Academical 4. And Scottish Division 2, Ayr United 1, Cowdenbeath 4. Brechin City 2, Berwick Rangers 2. Peterhead 0, Airdrie United 1. Queen's Park 1, Alloa Athletic 0. Ross County 2, Wraith Rovers 3. Scottish Div 3, Albion Rovers 3, Elgin City 4. Arbroath 3, Forfar Athletic 4. East 5-2, Montrose 0. Stenhousemuir 2, Dumbarton 1. Stranraer 2, East Stirling 1. And in the Welsh Premier, Aberystwyth 4, Carnarvon 0. Caersus 2, Neath 2. Llanelli 4, Connors Quay 0. Port Talbot 1, Rhyl 2. Portmaddock 1, Carmarthen 2. The New Saints 0, Airbus UK 0. Welshpool Town 2, Haverfordwest 1.
Just checking on the late kickoffs. Couple in the FA Cup. Burton Albion 1, Barnet 1. And that's now a result. Cambridge United 1, Weymouth 0. That match kicked off 15 minutes late because of crowd congestion. We'll bring you the result of that as soon as we get it. We'll hear from Gavin Peacock, Les Ferdinand and Garth Crooks in the light of today's results after we've looked at the updated league tables. And in the Barclays Premier League, league leaders Arsenal defend their unbeaten record away to Aston Villa in the 5:15 kick-off. Chelsea are up to second, their highest position under Avram Grant, a point out of the two Manchester clubs. Manchester United host Fulham on Monday, while Liverpool play Bolton tomorrow. Welcome back to the Premier League for Paul Jewell. His first game in charge of Derby ends with a stoppage-time defeat at Sunderland. At Jewell's former club Wigan, Steve Bruce earned a point in the opening game of his reign. Middlesbrough slip into the bottom three for the first time this season, and that win for Sunderland lifting them up to 14th. In the Coca-Cola Championship, Watford will kick off against Bristol City very shortly, knowing that a win will extend their lead at the top of the table. That's because second-place West Bromwich Albion were held to a 1-1 draw at Crystal Palace. Wolves' victory this afternoon means they rise to third above Charlton, who were beaten at home by Burnley. Plymouth are up to fifth after their 3-0 win over Scunthorpe. No change at the bottom, where Norwich's mini-revival came to an end with a late defeat at Stoke. Preston's fourth consecutive defeat keeps them rooted in the drop zone. Blackpool's last-minute winner against Queen's Park Rangers lifts them 3 points clear of their relegation rivals. A couple of games in Coca-Cola League 2 today. None of the teams at the top were in action, so the MK Dons remain 2 points clear of Darlington and Rotherham. Shrewsbury move into the top half of the table because they beat Macclesfield 2-0. Stuart Drummond and David Hunt getting the goals for the Shrews. Wrexham's draw with Rochdale means they move off the foot of the table. They still have a game in hand over bottom side Lincoln. Rochdale stay in 14th place. There were games today in the Blue Square Premier League. Just 3 matches. That's because of the FA Cup commitments. Histon, the only team in the top half to play. They won at Altrincham. And also that result leaves Altrincham in the bottom 4. Below them, Stafford Rangers and Northwich Victoria were involved in a goalless draw. York and Crawley Town also drew. In the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Celtic stay top, but their lead has been cut to just 1 point after they succumbed to a last-minute equaliser at Hearts, while Rangers beat Kilmarnock 2-0. Third place Hibs don't play until tomorrow, but Dundee United couldn't take advantage, losing at home to Inverness. Gretna's 12th defeat of the season means they remain well adrift at the bottom of the table, but Falkirk move above St Mirren after thrashing them 5-1 at Love Street, and Inverness also move up a place after their win at Dundee United. With managers and players emerging from their dressing rooms, lots of post-match reaction on the way after this summary of the top football stories of the day. Joe Cole bit the hand that once fed him with the only goal for Chelsea against former club West Ham. 8 bookings in a fractious London derby, Chelsea up to second. David Bentley's in overdrive for Blackburn, scoring twice to increase the pressure on Newcastle manager Sam Allardyce. 1 point from 15 now for his side. It's now 4 0-0 draws in Portsmouth's last 5 home games, as both Infor, Pompey and Everton cancelled each other out at Fratton Park. Wigan defender Titus Bramble proved a thorn in his own side, gifting Manchester City a first-minute lead. But teammate Paul Sharner, known as the Spaceman, ensures the Latics will take 1 small step under new manager Steve Bruce. Anthony Stokes is Sunderland's hero. His stoppage-time winner lifts the Black Cats out of the drop zone. First win in 9 for Roy Keane's men. Tunkai's late leveller rescued a point for struggling Middlesbrough against Reading, who drew for only the 2nd time this season. Highlights of all today's Barclays Premier League games, plus goals from today's top FA Cup games in tonight's Match of the Day at 10:30. Lots of post-match reaction on the way in the light of today's results. Let's go back to John Motson. He's at Fratton Park. He commentated on the Portsmouth-Everton game for Match of the Day. John, what's your summary of what the match threw up?
Well, I have to say, for once in my life, Ray, not very much, really. A lot of great effort from both teams, and nobody was shirking a challenge. But frankly, the 2 goalkeepers, although they did all they had to do perfectly adequately, didn't have a difficult afternoon. I think this reflects the fact that Portsmouth have now gone 10 Premier League games without defeat, and Everton have gone 8 games in all competitions unbeaten. And it was just one of those days when nobody was prepared to give an inch. Harry Redknapp took his normal seat by the touchline and it conducted affairs for there from Portsmouth. David Moyes had 1 or 2 long conversations with the 4th official, but other than that, I wouldn't separate them on this form. I thought a draw was a fair result.
We're remarking that Chelsea are making progress, John.
I think that's the story of the day. That and another defeat for Newcastle. That'll be what will occupy the headlines tomorrow. Chelsea are now moving up ominously behind Arsenal, and it puts an awful lot of pressure on Arsenal's game this evening at Aston Villa, and indeed on their 2 away games in the next 6 days. So I think we're going to see now what Chelsea really are made of without Jose Mourinho.
What's your reading of the situation at St James's Park, John? 1 point from 15 now for Newcastle, lost 4 of 5, and the Newcastle fans aren't enjoying what they're seeing.
Well, from what Joey Barton was saying, the players aren't really enjoying playing either, are they? He seems to feel that they're overawed by the expectancy. Whether that's true or not, it's hard to say from here, but this was not the agenda that the Newcastle fans were hoping for when Sam Allardyce took over. And he asked them to be patient, but of course, the way the matches are played these days, patience lasts about 2 games, and he's had 4 very, very difficult ones. So, again, it's a case of watch this space, Ray.
John, just an overall observation at the moment in the light of England's exit from Euro 2008. Stories of financial problems in football, allegations of corruption possibly, UEFA sending a dossier to Interpol about match fixing, an open season on footballers. The image of the game at the moment is not bright.
It's not really, no. There was no booing here, by the way, of the England players, just to make that point after last week. The Pompey crowd here, very enthusiastic, as you know, anyway. It's not a good time for football. It's good on the field in many ways. Off the field, I think a lot of people have got to take a long, hard look at themselves, not necessarily to do with the incident this week, but in general, there are far too many players and indeed 1 or 2 managers and administrators who are making headlines for the wrong reasons. And we have to remind ourselves this is a public entertainment which is actually financed by the spectators, be they in the ground or paying their television subscriptions. And I think it's probably time for a bit of a reality check, Ray.
John, nice to talk to you. Thanks very much. Let's go back to the lunchtime game at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea now 70 league games unbeaten. Last time they lost at Stamford Bridge was in February 2004. They beat West Ham this afternoon. Here's post-match reaction after that game.
Alan, that must be hard to take because you defended so well.
Yeah, I think, we set our stall out. We came here, we had a plan to play against one of the better sides, if you like, and it held us in good stead. We just didn't, I think, in the end, have enough to fashion that chance, or when we did get in a decent position, didn't have enough to fashion that chance. So we're a bit disappointed. I think we deserved the point, but, games are swung on vital moments, and they got the vital moment.
First half we played like they want us to play. They played very aggressively. We was a little bit nervous. We react instead to controlling these things. But second half we played our game, so it was good. We scored 1 goal. We can score 2 more.
Have you seen a replay of the goal?
I thought it was offside at first view. I think we're a little bit disappointed that they've won the first 2 headers and put Joko away. And to be fair, I still thought we got ourselves out of it. I thought that George McCartney was putting pressure on him. I think Greeny done great, and he just managed to squeeze it in. And perhaps there was a difference on the day that Joko had something that was going to change the game.
You try and time your runs right, and unless you hear the referee's whistle, you play on. So yeah, it was nice to score.
I'm happy for the 3 points. I will go now to drink something, eat something, and then I will see the goal.
Avram Grant, unbeaten, lost his first game when he took over at Chelsea, unbeaten since then. Just to confirm the news that came in at lunchtime, that UEFA has confirmed it's investigating 15 games from a variety of competitions after allegations of match fixing. The list of matches is part of a 96-page dossier that UEFA has handed over to Interpol. The matches, which do not go back further than July 2005, are thought to have been qualifiers for Euro 2008, the Champions League and Intertoto Cup. More news on that to come, I'm sure, in the weeks to come. First of all, as far as the Chelsea-West Ham game was concerned, was the goal offside?
I don't think so. No, I think you can look at it on a freeze frame and see that Joe Cole is in an onside position, he's level. When he gets through, finishes it brilliantly. Chelsea came off the back of a midweek European exploit, so they were a little bit, I would say, down in energy levels. But you've got to give credit to West Ham today. They went out there and made it very, very difficult. It's just that Chelsea have so many players all over the pitch that can pop up and do something unusual, like get you a goal, something to win the game out of nothing.
Yeah, Chelsea second in the table. Newcastle, I think, have conceded 10 goals in the last 3 games. They've lost 4 of the last 5. And it's an unhappy situation on Tyneside for the club at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and I fear for Sam at this moment in time. You know, the biggest problem, you know, he inherited a team that was lacking in confidence, and unfortunately for Sam at the moment, the players that he's brought in are not performing for him at this moment in time, and I think that's added to the fact that they're not winning games at this moment. But, you know, there was a lot of talk about the supporters not getting behind the team, but they did excellently well today. 5,500 people, supporters travelled, and they were still singing after the game today.
For Sunderland, it was a vital win. No win in 8 games before this afternoon. OK, they're playing Derby County, but it's victories in that little mini-league at the teams at the bottom that will prove vital.
This was a different Derby County side than we've seen hitherto. I mean, Paul Jewell had them playing, they were progressive, and they could have gone in at half-time, Ray, 2 up. They missed those 2 chances, and they'll rue it. They'll rue the day they missed those 2 chances. And Sunderland hung in, and Stokes got the victory in the end. All credit to them. It's a massive, massive win. It could be the difference between staying up for Sunderland and not.
Let's hear from the new Derby manager, Paul Jewell. He's talking to Conor McNamara.
Paul, that's got to hurt, because that could have been anyone's game right to the very, very end.
Yeah, you know, both sides been struggling really, but they're on the back of a 7-1 defeat. We're coming here and scored a goal away from home. It was never going to be a classical football match, but certainly for endeavour and effort, I can't be critical of our lads. What happens when you're down the bottom of the league? That happens, you know. You tend to play with a little bit of fear the closer you get to the end of the game. And but I couldn't see them scoring, to be perfectly honest. It looked like it was going to be a 0-0. And to lose it right as late as we did, really a double whammy.
Yeah, you're not the first team to be hit by that sucker punch. Same thing happened to Spurs here in the opening day. Roy Keane seems to have generated that don't give up in his team.
Yeah, I mean that's what you have to do. I mean our players never gave up today, but we haven't. They've got that confidence, I guess, at home to keep going. We've been away from home, and obviously things haven't gone our way. That's why we're bottom of the league. So, you know, we've got to try and somehow get the confidence and belief that, you know, to take the game forward, a vital stage in the game. Because first half, I thought we passed the ball really well. It was a scrappy game, but it was some really good football from us. I thought first half. Second half, we didn't look in any real danger. You know, they had plenty of pressure, and to lose it so late is really sickening.
You only met up with your new players on Thursday. I'd imagine you've probably learned as much today watching them as you have been able to in training.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. You know, I picked a team and I wasn't 100% sure it was the right team, because I don't know the players. I know of them, of course, but I don't know them individually, and I don't know them personally. So that's what I'm be looking forward to doing a lot of hard work on the training ground, loads of work to do. But I knew that before it came. But I'm not going to be standing and be critical of the players for effort.
Yeah.
And a quick reminder now, for full details on all today's football news and for sports news across the board, you can go to the BBC Sport website. Paul Jewell has a massive job on his hands, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think I heard the Derby chairman talking on Football Focus earlier today about not wanting Derby to give up, regardless of what it looks like in the league table, and he's quite entitled to that. Derby fans pay good money and they want value for money, fine. But I think that Derby are in a situation now where they're fighting for their lives with Wigan, with Sunderland, and Wigan, interestingly enough, did very well today to get a point from Manchester City. Could have got all 3, didn't, but played very, very well from a very bad start.
And let's hear from the Manchester City manager, Sven-Göran Eriksson, now, talking to Guy Mowbray.
Sven, will you be satisfied with a point today?
Yeah, 1 point is always good away, but deep inside I have a feeling that we should do games like this a little bit better, and I don't know why we're playing better at home than we do away. It shouldn't be like that, but that's a fact, and we got 1 point, and yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Of course, you were gifted the perfect start today.
Yeah, we were lucky. Of course, it was a mistake from Wigan, but I think it was a big mistake from us as well when they scored 1-1. So 2 goals were scored on 2 mistakes. But okay, 1 point. We take that, and trying next weekend we play away again. See if we can do a little bit better.
You must have had this situation many times in your management career. Strange, isn't it, how a team can get so different results on the same pitch but just away from home?
Yeah, I know. We're working on it, and I mean, we lost twice. We lost 3 times away from home, so 1 point should be okay for us. But I feel that sooner or later we're going to play better even away.
Manchester City 4th place in the table as things stand. Blackburn stand 8th. Here's their manager Mark Hughes. Blackburn 3-1 winners against Newcastle this afternoon.
Mark, in some ways, did it take going behind for you to get into your stride today?
I think it probably did. Certainly first half, I think we played a little bit too much in front of Newcastle and allowed them to obviously get their mark on the game, and they were just frustrating us somewhat. But we obviously talked about that at half-time and came out with a fresh resolve, we'd hoped, but obviously you conceded from a set play, which we've been guilty of in recent games, so we're going to have to address that. So at 1-0 down after obviously having a poor result in midweek, I wanted to see qualities from my side that would enable us to get back in, and certainly they showed them. A fantastic strike from David Bentley to get us back on level terms, and from that point onwards I didn't think we were going to be denied. Got our noses in front, obviously had to withstand a real onslaught from Newcastle, asked us a lot of questions that we had to stand up for ourselves and compete and be mentally strong on occasions, but always with a threat on the break as well. So to get the third, obviously calm myself and everybody connected to Blackburn Rovers down somewhat, but a good game in the second half, exceptional incident and talking points, but from a manager's point of view, I could do with less games like that.
First win in 5 for Blackburn Rovers. News on today's FA Cup ties now. A lot of teams playing for a place in the 3rd round draw, which takes place tomorrow afternoon. And congratulations go to Havant to Waterlooville of the Blue Square South League. Sean Gale's side, the talk of the FA Cup, after their superb 1-0 away win at League 2 side Notts County. Tony Taggart nets a late winner as the South Coast side reached the 3rd round for the first time. Oxford United scored a creditable 0-0 draw at home to League 1 side Southend United. Darren Patterson remains unbeaten in 4 matches in charge. And Burton Albion are on course for the 3rd round for the 2nd time in 3 seasons. Darren Stride scoring a late equaliser at home to Barnet to force a replay. Action from some of those games, starting with the Burton Albion Barnet match. Liam Hatch gave the League 2 side the lead after 19 minutes. He volleyed Adam Birchall's cross past 44-year-old goalkeeper Kevin Poole. But Burton, who missed a penalty, equalised 4 minutes from time when Darren Stride equalised with his first touch, just 30 seconds after coming on as a substitute. So Burton will be in the hat for tomorrow's 3rd round draw. Well played, Burton Albion. Also in the FA Cup this afternoon, Swindon Town against Forest Green Rovers. Forest Green suffered a heartbreaking defeat at their local rivals. The Blue Square Premier League side came from 2 down to draw level, only for Blur Sturrock, son of departed manager Paul Sturrock, to give the League 1 side a 3-2 victory with just 2 minutes remaining. And Torquay United against Brighton and Hove Albion. Nick Forster broke the deadlock after 63 minutes. The Brighton striker scored his 6th goal in 5 games to give the League 1 side the lead. Torquay pressed for an equaliser, but the Blue Square Premier League side unable to get it, and Forster scored his and Brighton's 2nd in the last minute to seal the win. Torquay had played well in the 1st round to beat Yeovil, but this afternoon, not for them. Hers the 2nd goal, and it means that Brighton are going to be in the draw for the 3rd round of the FA Cup tomorrow afternoon around about 3 o'clock. Bristol Rovers playing Rushden and Diamonds this afternoon too. Non-league side took the lead with what was surely one of the goals of the round. Marcus Kelly spotted Rovers keeper Steve Phillips off his line and produced an exquisite lob. And with both sides having to deal with some real winter weather today, the home side drew level. Neat interplay allowed Andrew Williams to slip the ball under Rushden keeper Paul Bastock after 33 minutes. 2 minutes later, the League 1 side had the lead. Rovers once again split the visitors' defence, allowing Craig Disley to give them the lead. Another quick brace after the break from Rovers ended the game as a contest. 6 minutes into the 2nd half, Craig Hinton headed home his 2nd goal in as many games. And 3 minutes later, Richard Lambert scored Rovers' 4th goal from the edge of the box. And Lambert added his 2nd too. That was Rovers' 5th. There were 3 minutes remaining to round off a comfortable victory for the League 1 side. And And a quick reminder, you can watch all today's FA Cup goals from midnight onwards, and then at any stage of tomorrow, just press the red button and follow the links. Tonight's match of the day will also include action from some of today's second round FA Cup ties. And don't forget the FA Cup second round match tomorrow between Harrogate Railway and Mansfield Town. 1 o'clock start here on BBC One. The match will be followed by the draw for the third round of the Cup. The Premier League and Championship clubs enter the competition for the third round, of course, and the FA Cup draw for the third round will be made round about 3 o'clock. Before that, at 11:30 tomorrow morning on BBC Two, it's the draw for the group stage of the Euro 2008 finals. England and Scotland fans just can't wait for that programme. Back to today's Barclays Premier League games, and let's hear from Sunderland manager Roy Keane.
Well, you've pulled the rabbit out of the hat, Roy. Must be an amazing feeling.
Oh, it was nice to obviously to score so late in the game. Again, wasn't a classic, no doubt. Two teams struggling near the bottom, but you know, we had a bit of luck today, and obviously to score so late in the game was a great bonus for us.
Managers always speak about, you know, preaching to the players, don't give up till the very, very end. It must give you enormous satisfaction to see it turned into reality.
Yeah, of course, and obviously we encourage the players to do that every single day in training, and we've done that the majority of the time I've been at the club. You know, we have scored lots of late goals, but I think the priority for us today was trying to keep a clean sheet, because at home we'll always create chances, and we got that bit of luck today.
Anthony Stokes has taken a while to settle into the Premier League. Everything we hear from the training ground is he does great stuff in training. Did you think that sort of goal was coming from him? Well,
lots of players do great stuff on the training pitch, but you know, I'd rather do it on a Saturday. And Stokesy, to be fair, you know, he's a good lad. He trains well, and he hasn't had a fair run in the team, he would probably say. So it'll do him the world of good, I thought today. And he came on and he had an influence on the game. But as I said, he's a young lad. We shouldn't be trying to put too much pressure on him. And he's working hard, and that's all we ask him. So I've got no problem with Stokesy. And hopefully there's plenty more goals to come from him.
Okay. A quick reminder now that with so much midweek football coming up, a score service will run next Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday night via the red button or via the BBC Sport website. That's from 7:30. And today's score service continues now via the red button. All today's football news and the updated league tables will cycle on the screen. Gavin, Les and Garth will continue the discussion, and we'll hear from more managers and players in the light of today's results. This is where we say goodbye to BBC One viewers. Press the red button to stay with us, but it's bye for now.